Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to revisit a TV show I remember seeing back in when I was in fifth grade, called Fridays. It was a late night comedy sketch, and technically, the late night comedy sketch shows I'm talking about just from major networks releasing these back, from 80s, well, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and they're pretty much, well, of course, Saturday Night Live. Fridays, SCTV, and Mad TV. Those are the four big ones. And the only one, of course, running right now is Saturday Night Live. And you see, I've done some reviews on that. I think it's most of the popularity in that is because of what they're saying about the president. I think. And I remember seeing it back. It used to be like right after they have like the regular news and they have Nightline. And I think it'd be on it. I don't know if Nightline was an hour or a half hour back then. At 12 or 12:30. And it used to be like an hour and a half. I think they edited it down for reruns to an hour. And I remember really liking it as a kid. Yeah, I know my one friend said, "Well, that's just a cheap imitation of Saturday Night Live." And and he would just say things. Dan Davis, he would say things just to kind of rain on your parade. But in some aspects, looking back, it kind of was. Um, but they always had great musical guests. They had Devo on all three seasons because it was only on for 3 years. And then Rich Hall, who I'm a big fan of, ended up joining the cast too. And launched careers of a lot of people like, especially Michael Richards. And this was way before he got in trouble for saying a thing about the heckler. And some other people, not as much, but Mark Blankfield and Bruce Mahler and Melanie, the lovely Melanie Chartful. I've always had a thing for her. And after it ended, like a few years later, they had reruns of it on Friday, and I still watch because I like the show. And I was like, this show's not as funny as I thought it used to be, and it would look really cheap. I like the musical guests though. Even my favorite skit on the show, which I remember laughing hysterically about when I was real little, Muppet Hut, wasn't as funny. I remember laughing like he did when the first time I seen Mr. Bill on Saturday Night Live. Um, and that was pretty much the last time I ever seen anything related to Fridays, except for I know me and my one roommate, we liked that Rastafarian guy. We imitated. Can you whip it? No, 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 no. Can you skip it? No. You smoke it? Yeah, 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 yeah. We imitate him in Germany, and then after that, whenever I got internet, this is way in 2013. I remember wanting to see that Devo performance for New Traditionalists when they were on the treadmills. That was so cool. And some guy had a clip of like the first part of the thing with them doing jerking back and forth, and then like the Nutra theme, which I didn't know what that song was called, a little instrumental at the beginning. And that was pretty much it until I saw Man on the Moon, which was released a long time ago. I saw it like 2 years ago. That was Jim Carrey's Andy Kaufman movie, biopic, where he played Andy Kaufman. And then they gave Fridays a lot of big props for doing that infamous fight scene that was in the show. And they had an interview with the director saying that on Friday they said it was a godsend because the show was struggling ratings wise and keeping viewers, and because of that infamous fight and all the press they got a third season for that, or their show had been canceled. But after the third season, the show got canceled, and that drove me back to look at least the apology that Andy Kaufman did in the next episode, and also the fight scene, and watching that. And they have like a thing about whether it was staged or not. I don't want to give that away. And they made it look worse than it was in the movie Man on the Moon, though, trying to get more hype and stuff. And that was about it for Fridays. And then last week I was checking out Tubi TV and I saw they had reruns of Fridays. Holy crap, reruns of Friday! I want to see this. And I started watching. The very first episode had the Muppet Hunt, and it just wasn't that funny. I remember it's like I felt the same way. I was like kind of disappointed. I thought these skits were a lot more funnier than this. But the talent was definitely great. The physical humor was fantastic. But it just wasn't that funny. The only thing I really laughed at the episodes I saw was a Larry David thing. I forgot Larry David was on the show too. That's before he was a big unknown. I didn't know it was him. I didn't hear about him much until Curb Your Enthusiasm came out, you know. And watching the show, I still have fond memories of it. And the musical, they had some great musical acts. But I don't think the show held up as, at least funny wise. There's lots of talent, and I mean, seemed like lots of skits go on forever. And then I saw the third episode of the first season had a couple of skits, Dying of the Dead, which they wouldn't show on reruns anymore, which showed like zombies and people eating cannibalism and stuff like that. And also, Flammable Nun about priest that orders a blow up doll, like, and that was a really quick one. And then Women Who Spit, which was like a round table discussion, and the women were just spitting on the floor and stuff. And they said after that episode, a lot of the affiliates wouldn't show Fridays anymore because people were calling up complaining, saying it was too gross or it was objectionable. Yeah, and I guess Melanie Chartoff, the next episode, she apologized for the Dying of the Dead sketch, which is not on the reruns, but it was on. It's on YouTube, and then they had the other two skits. I did watch that episode, but like I said, it was not fun. It was all right though. But I appreciate the talent on the show, and the musical guests were fun. They had Plasmatics on there, and I always thought Wendy Williams was cool as hell. And the Devo performances, that brings it up an extra notch. And they had Kenny Loggins, Tom Petty, The Clash on there, and it was just cool. And then bringing Rich Hall, he had that Bachelor Living, which was fantastic, very creative. And I did like Naughty Dread's thing about skip it, do whip it, and all that. When he would smoke like different things he talked about ganja and stuff like that. Both like jump rope, peanut butter jelly sandwich, or pigeon. I admire the creativity in that. And Mark Blankfield, he did that thing about the monster character. He's like, whoa, like that. And also the crazy pharmacist, and that was the basis for that Jekyll and Hyde Together Again, which he did in '82. And that was entertaining too. I liked that movie. And I did see that till I was in Germany. I think that was something that I talked to John about the show Fridays about. Not John, but Jeff Moscone, who was my roommate when I was in the Army. But, I mean, it didn't hold up as far as comedy-wise. Now, the classic Saturday Night Live, I've seen those plenty, and a lot of those are really funny. SCTV is probably the best because I remember in 2004, 2005, or something like that, they had a bunch of box sets from Shout Factory of SC, and I remember getting those, and they're still really, really funny, and they really hold up. That's the best of the four. The late night cut. That's the best of the ones. Mad TV, when it first came out on Fox, it was great for the first 3-4 years, and then it kind of like it kind of wasn't that good anymore. But it was great for a while. It was really funny to Saturday Night Live. So pretty much as far as late night comedy shows, it's probably SCTV, higher echelon, and then it was like Saturday Night Live, kind of. And Saturday Night Live ebbs and flows too, but I'm talking about the classic ones. Mad TV, kind of like just slightly under that, and then a little further down Fridays. But I'm glad I got to see Fridays. Revisiting Fridays, it's not as funny as I remembered, but it's still very enjoyable. I give it a 7 out of 10. So I hope you liked this video, everybody. Until next time, please, Kimberly.